So this happy-looking guy is an economist called Eric Beinhocker. And he came up with probably one of the best comments on economics that I've ever come across. He said, to summarize 2.5 million years of economic history in brief, for a very, very, very long time, not much happened. Then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And he says that because of this graph. This graph represents the value of all the stuff that has been produced in the world for the last 25,000 years. And what you can see is that for millennia, many millennia, there was barely any change in the value of what we produced. And then around about 1750, something extraordinary happened. Our productivity, our capacity to produce value took off like a jet plane. And why did that happen? It happened because of this, the Industrial Revolution, the emergence of a new technology that rapidly enhanced our ability to produce. And it's been continuing ever since, for 250 years, with technology constantly getting better at being productive and producing value. But it'd be wrong to see this as being just about technology. Something far deeper happened 250 years ago. It was the unleashing of the power to create. For the first time, people began to recognize that they could radically transform and improve the world simply by turning their ideas and their innovations into reality. But it was a power to create very much for an elite. It was a creativity that was reserved largely for the wealthy, the well-connected, the aristocracy. But even then, it still had a huge impact. For example, between 1 AD and the 1750s, incomes rose only from $1.20 per day to $1.70 a day around the world. And yet, between the 1750s and now, income has risen from that $1.70 per day to $17 a day across the world. And it's not just about the money. Enormous advances have been made in a whole range of other areas over the last 250 years. Education is now far more accessible and available than it once was. Public health has been completely transformed. We use our leisure time in ways that would have been completely unimaginable a couple of hundred years ago. And food is now far more abundant than it once was. But something even more exciting is happening today. Whereas for the last 200 years, we have been really good at distributing the products of creativity, we're now getting excellent at distributing the tools for creativity itself. Because of a new technological revolution, people are able to share and develop and mobilize for their own ideas across the world. Imagine what we could do in the next 250 years with that sort of technological revolution compared to what we have done for the last 250. But there are still blockages to overcome. Only a quarter of us say that we feel we are living up to our creative potential. 50% of us say that we feel our creativity was crushed at school. 75% of us say that we do not feel we're able to be creative at work. And it's hardly surprising then that the biggest reasons people give for not turning their ideas into reality is that they don't have the self-confidence or the motivation to do that. So at the RSA, we believe that our task, everyone's task for the 21st century, is to reinvigorate that revolution of creativity, to unleash the power to create once again, just as it was unleashed 250 years ago. But this time, instead of unleashing it just for an elite, we should unleash it for everyone. Thank you very much.